This is a graph of the stress threshold. The important thing here is the stress threshold. Everybody has a stress threshold. If you go above your stress threshold, whatever your Achilles heel is, physiologically, it'll be activated. Whether that's panic attacks, despair, migraine, GERD, hemorrhoids, back pain, whatever it is, you spend too much time above your stress threshold, that's going to be activated. If you stay there for too long, it might be activated so much that it doesn't go away even if you get back below your stress threshold. I recommend that everybody be aware of where is that for you. I know it varies from time to time, but it's good to know when you're above it. This leads me to think that the stress threshold is the epigenetic trigger point. Epigenetics is a description of the interaction between genes and environment. In fact, there's a formula for that. GXE, gene interaction with environment. So some of the most studied currently epigenetic maneuvers or chemical reactions are DNA methylation, histone modification, non-coding RNA, especially microRNA, which is like 22 strands of amino acids or less. It's amazing to see what that can do to people. I had a guy, he's a genetic chemist, he came to me. He said he needed to go work out so he could methylate the cytosine molecule of the promoter region of a pesky polymorphism to suppress its expression. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. You have to do certain things that will produce an environment that will be good for your genes, not bad for your genes. You don't want to activate the wrong genes, and you want to allow the expression of genes that are helpful in healing. I use some examples below here, and they are from a paper, Psychiatric Annals, for anybody who's interested in the details, volume 46, number 9, 2016, September 2016, Psychiatric Annals, pages 510 to 518. It's the role of genetics and epigenetics in the pathogenesis of post-traumatic stress disorder. Julius Pape and Elizabeth Binder. They're from the Max Planck Institute in Munich, although Elizabeth also works at Emory in Atlanta. I got a kick out of this one. FKBP5, microRNA, that's induced by trauma. This is an example of an epigenetic phenomenon, and it was confirmed by functional MRI imaging that the amygdala and hippocampus were activated by stress when this polymorphism was active. Looking at scary faces apparently activated the amygdala and hippocampus more in women than in men, which was interesting. So epigenetic guidance is what you're doing when you use a healing plan. This is not epigenetic engineering. This is not gene splicing. That's CRISPR. If you're not familiar with the term CRISPR, C-R-I-S-P-R, stands for Clustered Regularly Interspersed Short Palindromic Sequences. I know it's a mouthful. That's why they say CRISPR. And then the Cas9 is a particular version of that can be engineered to do gene splicing. This is stuff that's captured from prokaryotic organisms like bacteria and plasmids. They extract some of the genetic material. These prokaryotic organisms do not have a nucleus, so they have little strands floating around here and there. CRISPR-9 actually has been used to do some gene splicing. This guy named Dr. Yang who took the white button mushroom and removed 16 genes from it so it wouldn't turn brown so fast. The U.S. Department of Agriculture allowed it to happen because he didn't splice any genes into it. So other ways, there are things called zinc fingers and tau proteins. I love some of these names that describe how you can do gene editing. And there's a whole industry behind this, a huge lawsuit going on about who claims the patent. It's going to be like nuclear energy. It can do a lot of good, but it could do a lot of harm. There's a lot of bioethical concerns about what's happening with it. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and get a CRISPR kit, which actually you can buy online. I'm not recommending you do that and fiddle around with your patient's genes, especially not with their sperm or eggs, because that's illegal. But I do recommend that you provide epigenetic guidance to get rid of unwanted genes and to encourage wanted genes. Instead of a glazed donut, a handful of nuts. Instead of being a couch potato, exercise. Don't get stressed, de-stress. Don't be in social isolation, get good connections. So this requires self-discipline, which is the tough part. Motivation for self-discipline. You have a body, you have a mind, you're given this thing that transports you around, you have to take care of it. Science does give us reasons to believe what we already know to be true, and here's an example of it. Here's a doctor telling his patient, stress is killing you. You need an easier job, a smaller house, and a different family. Thank you, New Yorker magazine.